Thank God you're finally here. These people are driving me nuts. Are we going to have dinner later?
No, I can't. You know what is the telephone?
There's telephone right around the corner.
Elizabeth Driscoll, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, this is the Elizabeth? The book is awful. Kibner's book is awful. His ideas are garbage. Kibner's ideas are pure garbage.
How can you say that about a man like Kibner?
I'm not saying it about a man like Kibner. I'm saying it about Kibner.
Hello, welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast. I'm John.
I'm Ben.
I'm Cobra.
And this is your pick, Ben.
Sure. Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why would you say that?
I remember seeing it a few years ago, and I remember really enjoyed it, and I generally kind of creeped out about it. And I don't know. So when you said pick 5 movies, this was on my list.
I should have said that this is the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but I instead skipped that. So this is the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah, we all took 5 movies and stuck them into hats, and this is the first one we're doing. So, have you ever seen it before, Cobra?
Nope, this is a first time watch for me.
Guess where I watched it?
At work.
At work, at midnight.
Very important job you had.
What I thought was really cool about this was, if you've ever seen the original, at the end, Kevin McCarthy is running up the street yelling at people that they're coming.
You like his cameo appearance in this one?
And he shows up in this one yelling they're coming. It's pretty cool.
Then he gets crushed.
Yeah, then he gets crushed by a car. Now, before we get into this, I work for the government, but I don't work for the health department. Sutherland is taking this job as if he has all kind of connections and oversights to
power,
to call in and just get things done. And I just found it really amusing.
Like he's got friends at the CIA, the FBI.
Yeah,
he told the guy he closed down his restaurant, but I mean, if he works for the government, it's going to take at least 5 to 7 years before he shuts that thing down.
He also got that sweet ride of his, that all-white car, the Department of Health on it.
Is this movie, the credit sequence, is this supposed to be...
It's disgusting.
It is?
What?
That credit sequence at the beginning?
The plasma?
Yeah. Looks like jizz or something.
Yeah. I thought it was in the water.
Doesn't it get into the water?
Well,
it leaves
gets into
space.
it gets into the atmosphere,
yeah,
and then it just
follow
rains.
some amoeba through space, and then they get to Earth.
Which I love that idea, that it's not spaceships coming down.
Yeah.
Why can't it be some sort of plant life?
Bacteria, yeah. So right off the bat...
I've never seen The Happening. Is The Happening kind of...
No.
Nothing like
I
this?
never saw The Happening.
The Happening is that the trees decide they've had enough shit, so they're helping push the wind with a poisonous
oh, wow.
that causes humans to commit suicide. Not unlike fucking Bird Box, which is a piece of shit.
I didn't watch that one either.
It's
Was it bad?
terrible.
I kind of want to read the book first, but...
Fucking, what's her name?
Oh, Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. She's awful. She's trying to be dead serious about shit. And
Didn't she walk around with a blindfold?
They all did. That's
the whole point. You can't look at it.
Yeah, see...
What is it?
Is it aliens or...
I don't know.
Yeah, something.
I don't know.
I'd probably just give up and die if I had to walk around and not be able to look at anything.
Quitter attitude.
Well, Jesus Christ, how long would you want to go? You want to walk around with a blindfold, feeling around stuff.
I don't know.
I feel like this is the show to spoil the ending you would like.
Bird Box?
Yeah.
Just stick it in and don't give any.
I don't plan on what. Yeah, don't even warn. Just go.
Alright.
No one listens to this anyways.
So at the end, they just end up at a vision impaired community and hang out with blind people for the rest of time.
That would have pissed me off.
It's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, that would have made me.
At least John Malkovich is in it though.
Is he blind or
somebody
drunk as fuck?
Did he pay Did he pay anybody their money?
No, unfortunately, that would have been great.
He beat me. Straight up. Pay him. Pay that man his money.
What a great role.
Mm-hmm.
10.
Right, where are we?
We're in your basement, John.
1 minute in?
The credit
in your
sequence.
basement, John. This isn't even a basement, really, is it?
It's a hot tub room.
We're in your hot tub room, John.
Minus the hot tub.
No hot tub, though.
Oh, there was one in here. Yeah, it was a rabbit breeding ground in here, too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It's been a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I say bring the hot tub back.
Nah, the rabbits. Then we'll
just
we'll
fill it with
rewatch
hot tubs and rabbits.
We'll rewatch
Hot tub night of Levis.
Yeah. We were texting back, or I started a text group back and forth when I was watching this last night, and you said, I wonder how early people were infected. They were getting the stink eye right from the
get-go.
Yeah.
The teacher.
And she was purposely taking those children out to pick a flower.
Not only that, but like that priest was on the swing.
Well, the
That-
priests are
I know
just
now that you look at it, you go,
awkward.
that makes sense.
priests hanging out in playgrounds. Come on.
What a bad look for a priest I have.
But I think he's just trying to act like the other humans that are around.
Yeah.
I think that's the point of that.
But yeah, so right from the beginning, half the population's infected.
Yep.
But let's talk about this. So when you're a pod person, you have no emotions or whatever or not. But if they're giving you the stink eye, that comes from some emotion.
I don't know if they're doing that or if they're like trying to figure out if these people are.
I think they're trying to figure out if she's because she picked one.
So maybe,
And maybe they're
like,
just
it's
like
alright.
watching to like, oh.
And then again, if you find out that someone's human, what do? You just sedate them and make them sleep?
That's what it looked like they were trying to
Yeah.
do.
I don't understand how it all works.
They chase them a lot, but we never really see one.
You
I
gotta
mean, when they
remember,
capture
too,
the
like,
two main ones, they
These
drug
things
them.
have the intelligence of an amoeba.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but they can take out the trash. They do their daily routines.
how much intelligence does that take to take out the trash?
More than an amoeba has.
I don't think so.
Nope.
I
You
take
don't
out
know
the
the
trash all the
intelligence
time,
of
but
an
I,
amoeba.
It's
don't-
another one of those jobs that if we could pay by banana, monkeys would do.
What? Take out trash?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like our job. Pay them with bananas, they can do what we do. Just, pushing the cart, being like, oh, wow, and dropping off mail and shit.
Can you imagine? That would be great if we had one monkey
Just
that
one
worked
office
down
monkey, that would be great.
You just don't have an office monkey.
there. Shockma, that'd be a nightmare.
Oh man.
Humping all the walls and
Yeah.
shit. Knock it off!
So is it a caper or a rat turd? I think it was a caper, and I think Donald Sutherland was just being a
I don't
cock
think
to
it
these
was,
people.
because if it was a caper, I think that guy would have ate it.
Call his bluff, man. Eat the fucking rat
Yeah.
turd.
I would have just downed it.
Yeah.
I just have here more fucking government oversight. What more do we need? If the people eat rat turds, let the market sort it out.
Yeah, but he has a fair point that if they're going to be charging those prices, that's crap.
Yeah,
because
no,
he's
I
feeding them rat turds.
That's true.
I was amused at this job where he's in some laboratory testing scallops to see if they're like high quality or something. It was
Is
really,
that what the health department does?
I don't know. I would imagine. I guess it makes sense.
They do the
You
same
can't
thing
just
with
walk
food
in.
that people do with animals and
Yeah,
shit.
you gotta. I guess you gotta test it. Although I don't think we have any health inspectors working.
When did
right
the
now.
FDA come into existence?
That would have been like early 1900s. I think is when
Okay,
Roosevelt.
throw that theory out the window.
Sweaty Teddy.
Yeah, I think he brought that in, or at least it was the beginnings of health inspection, food inspection. After reading The Jungle.
Upton Sinclair.
Yeah.
Look at me! Literature. A
No,
class.
no idea. Literature F over here. I'm uncultured.
It's a disgusting book.
The meatpacking plants in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yes.
That's good enough. You can trick him.
I know enough to get back.
So Donald Sutherland, sexy? Not sexy?
Not sack. He's got a pube head and a
Yeah.
giant nose.
Why in the 70s? Animal House? He's
He
scoring Carrying Out.
I think
Carrying
I might have
Out.
figured out. It's because he looks like porn star John Holmes.
That's true.
Kind of does.
He's got the mustache, the curly pube head. In certain shots, he looks like Johnny Holmes.
Maybe that's it.
People think he had a big wiener, probably.
Wah, wah. I mean, that's what I imagined.
I was
anyway.
like, John, do you know?
Well, doesn't he get? He gets completely naked in. The fuck is it?
Oh, that maybe.
Don't look
Don't
now.
Look Now.
Yeah, his butt's all buddy.
Good description.
It's not good.
We don't see his butt in Animal House, do we?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see his butt? in
Yeah, he's
Animal House?
walking around and he like.
That's it. Yeah, I was like vaguely remembering. I think we do see his butt.
I
somewhere.
think he looks better as an old man than he did when he was younger. Do you know
You
what I
mean,
mean?
like, now?
He's just
Yeah.
gaudy looking. Like he is. I don't know.
Have you seen his son?
I just don't understand why he's.
Kiefer? Oh.
Yeah.
I just don't understand
He
why
looks like a
he-
mutant.
I just don't understand in the 70s how Donald Sutherland was like scoring in every movie. with,
Yeah,
like,
there were
younger...
better looking people, right?
Yeah, he's always scoring with like younger chicks.
Like Roy Scheider. He was killing Jaws.
Yeah, I don't know if he was scoring chicks. He had Lorraine Gary if you really want that.
Nobody wants that.
No.
Except maybe Tommy. Was that his name?
Hoagie. Fucking Michael Caine?
Yeah. Tommy. Who the fuck's Tommy?
I have no idea.
Early on, we get the Jeffrey. It's not a Jeffrey. It's So we have Donald Sutherland.
Mm.
Can't remember his name. His assistant.
Matthew.
His assistant Elizabeth.
Mm.
Her husband.
Jeff.
Her boyfriend.
Boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who Donald Sutherland is just hinting the whole movie. Leave him. Come live with me.
Don't.
Yeah.
They have to have a past, right?
I think so.
It seemed like it.
Had to have a little power.
When they start off with this movie, I thought this was pretty good. Like, I'm guessing for back then, now we all know what's happening in the movie, but it starts off by showing Jeffrey watching basketball and, like, freaking out and having a great time and everything, and they get in an argument, too, which shows that they got a little bit of, like, emotion to them. And so, the next day, when he's walking around just going, bye, I gotta go to a meeting.
He takes the trash out.
You can definitely tell that something's different.
Trash.
Did you see the trash?
Yeah. It's a dead pod.
Is that what they're getting rid of?
What
okay.
it is. Because you see it. That's one of the things I really like about this movie is to pick the chaos going off, like, around.
Like the fucking dude staring out the window when they're walking down the hallway. Fuck that, man.
What was that guy doing?
I don't know. He's like,
then you get that, like, Donald Sutherland will be crossing the street, and you see it, like, some people just running. You know, it's just not normal. It's not right. And I like that, the chaos going around the background.
Seeing the faculty copied off that. There's a lot going on in the background of that movie, too.
They stole
everything.
In several movies in that one. It was like a mishmash.
I do like the talk that when Elizabeth starts telling... I'll just call him Donald Sutherland. Matthew.
Can you call her Beth?
What?
Because
Shorter?
Elizabeth got too long, so I started... Easy, Sanford.
The worst one, this is a big one. I'm dying. You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
Can you plug that?
Oh, I thought he was doing Macho Man.
I was doing Macho Man. Yeah.
You were doing...
Oh, you're talking about...
Sanford said...
Elizabeth.
I'm coming to get you,
I'm gonna get you, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth! Elizabeth! Will you marry me?
Sanford are really close.
When Matthew is telling Beth that she should take Jeffrey to a psychiatrist, I love when he says, the psychiatrist might be able to tell you if he has gone Republican or he's turned gay. I was just like, what did people think psychiatrists did back?
I think back then they were quacks, and in the 80s they were evil. Is that how it went?
Spock is the worst psychiatrist.
He's a piece of shit, but that's because he's taken over already.
Movie.
Yeah.
The whole time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's working with them.
But then...
That's why he's so hard and fast on the... Or not hard and fast, is it hardened? On his opinion? That's why he has such a strong opinion.
And that shows what? Emotion.
No, it's not showing emotion.
If you have a really strong opinion about something, it's because it's your emotions.
I don't think so.
No, he's trying to convince these people that nothing's happening.
Everything you do is based on emotion. That's why
these things shouldn't exist.
That's why I find it really hard for them to be walking around, and then they like it. Well, I like that shirt.
Oh, yeah. They live. The top guy.
The audience can't see it.
I know, but
I'm trying to here. Look at this microphone. Check it out.
It's pretty cool.
I just feel like every action you do is based on some kind of emotion.
I don't know what the. All I know is on my little link at work, and I have my emojis. I don't have one of.
That should be the newest thing.
Is that an emotion? It's just a
I think
signal.
That's
it's
communication
the warning
between them. Yeah, because they don't talk at all. Well, they do talk.
Yeah, they do talk.
I'm confused now.
They talk like normal people with like dead brains.
Instead of being like there they are, they shriek.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
weird.
they don't smile, they don't laugh. Those are the emotions they're talking about.
Basic emotions.
To make you an individual.
I'm wondering about Spock being infected here.
Maybe he doesn't
might
become
not have
infected
been the
until
first.
like the second time
might
we
have-
see him.
But it's the second time we see him, he's in the car with...
The first time he's where? At the spa?
No, he's in a book signing.
He's most definitely not at the beginning now that I'm thinking of it, because he grabs Jeff Goldblum and throws him against the wall.
Can we talk about Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, he's great!
He's a little weird.
Goldblum he has been Jeff Goldblum since the beginning, hasn't he? Everyone thinks he kind of went Christopher Walken, like he just created his own.
He puts a little bit more space and pause between his words now, but in this movie he's going fucking a million miles an hour.
He had to have been improvising, right?
I think a lot of this was imposed.
Because nobody can write lines for that, like for Jeff Goldblum to do that. It was almost like mumblecore or something.
When what's his name? Matthew is on the phone with the police, and Jeff Goldblum is like just telling him all this shit at the exact same time. Is that what you're saying? Like they didn't write both of those things.
Yeah. And the talking over each other.
I thought that was great, just to make the movie feel a little bit more grounded in reality, where like the conversations that were being had were natural.
I think so. I agree. But Goldblum is crazy.
Mm-hmm. He's married to Veronica Cartwright from Alien.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I know her from.
She's in a ton of stuff.
You know,
I
she's
didn't
from-
write anything down, but I did.
You can plug this.
Hmm.
Gary movie too.
Shake your ass. Watch yourself. Shake your ass. Show me what you're working with.
Leonard Nimoy being a psychiatrist. It's basically just marriages are going to hell. People just don't listen to each other anymore.
You're just finding a way to get out of this. That's why you think Jeffrey's changing. Is he changing in the relationship? It was bullshit.
Maybe is this kind of like the thing? When did Leonard Nimoy turn? Like at the
I
end
was
of the thing, like who?
I
Which one?
have that in my notes. Like, this movie's okay, but it's not as good as The Thing.
No, it's not.
I think The Thing took some probably a few ideas from this.
But it also
John Carpenter must have fucking loved this movie because he made 2 movies that took a lot from this movie.
I can see
What was
him
the other one?
enjoying
Halloween 3 and The Thing.
Did he do Halloween 3?
Yes, he did.
He
He helped
wrote
write
it.
it. Yeah.
that. He helped write it at least.
Him and Deborah
Deborah Hill.
Hill wrote it.
They were married once.
Then the Barbeau got in between them.
Oh man, come on.
I know.
Carpenter's
And then
not
poor
exactly a
Hill
looker,
died
I
of
guess.
cancer, I think, at some point.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes. Your husband leaves you for an uglier woman, and then you die of cancer.
What a horrible life.
Yep.
We're introduced to Jeff Goldblum's wife, and apparently him and her have a business. He's a
A mud bat.
He's a poet.
Some kind of.
He just wants to go read his poems, and he gets really upset when Leonard Nimoy comes in and steals the show. I don't know what was going on there.
Do they have a history?
They act like they do.
Yeah.
I thought they were competing psychiatrists or something.
That's what I thought.
And
because
Jeff Goldblum was just a little more jealous because
he has success with his books.
he had more success or something. But no, he owns a mud bath, which are disgusting.
These fat
The
fucks.
thing that woman does to that fat man. You couldn't pay most women enough, I don't think, to
Yeah, she
rub that down.
It's kind of like this new agey thing that would have probably been bad in the 70s. Mud baths and massages, and she talks at one point about eating healthy and you're putting junk in your system.
She believes
Food.
monkeys came from space and bred with humans, or aliens bred with
yeah,
monkeys.
she's
That's
a
what
big
she thinks.
yeah, she's a big ancient alien purpose believer. But yeah, that's the time period though, the 70s, where all this was coming around. But mud baths are fucking disgusting. Some fat dude gets out of a bath and then some other dude's just gonna go sit in there. Disgusting.
What? Why mud?
I don't know.
Nothing about mud feels good.
It's
Does
supposed
it?
to be good for your pores and your skin. And
Oh, that's
stuff
why they
like
rub that green shit all over their faces.
Ugh. I'll take something else. I'll take blackheads. I got
Yeah,
enough
I'm
mud in my
fine.
pores.
I don't give a fuck anymore.
I got
I'm too old to give a shit.
I got baby ass skin.
Smooth?
Yeah, isn't that what they said?
Is that your head?
Well, I gotta
Not quite.
I gotta put a little lotion on.
You gotta like this a little. Let me see how far that's going back. Let me see how much time you got left with that airbag.
Costanza. 6 months. Yeah, there's nothing here, so.
You can always put a Seinfeld reference into any situation.
Oh, hell yeah.
I wrote a paper in school on that. Every day of your life.
So good.
Something happens. It happened on a Seinfeld.
Robin refuses to watch it with me.
Kidding me? One of the best shows. We've been,
I think they go into one of the rooms and find a pod person that looks like Jeff Goldblum.
yes.
Does it look like him? I wouldn't even
Not
pay
at
attention.
first.
I didn't even pay attention to be
No, it
honest with
starts,
you.
it's continuously is forming. So at first they're just like, it's nothing. It's just a blank slate, basically. But then
So-
it starts forming into what Jeff Goldblum.
Okay, so let
And
me.
he starts bleeding.
Okay, so let me ask this
Nosebleed.
point. Now he's got a pod person forming of himself.
Yeah.
I guess this is where I'm confused. They're making duplicates of everybody, so shouldn't there be 2 of everybody running around? Do they kill the human?
No, you
and-
saw what happened with
Once it
with
starts
Elizabeth.
moving and breathing,
she,
the real people
she just
fall
like
apart.
fell apart. Remember, she was hugging Donald Sutherland,
And that's
just,
why they're picking up all that gray
Oh,
shit.
yeah. I
No,
guess-
that's what is being disposed of.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
The
dead,
skin.
dead
the
skin
human
and
skin.
human matter and stuff. I guess is in the back of the garbage truck or just lying in a dumpster.
Okay, so let me go with this then, I guess. They never... Jeff Goldblum's pod just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he's himself for probably
A little bit longer.
30 minutes of the movie before he turns with
Wait a minute.
Leonard Nimoy.
I'm wondering if he doesn't turn and just go with them, and then maybe
He was
try to
acting.
set them up.
He was still acting the same though.
Was he?
Yeah, he had emotion. He was still talking with
so
his
when
wife.
they captured him and because he ran into that crowd, they made him go to sleep, and then his pod guy finished. Okay, all right, never mind then.
But if his pod guy left and disappeared,
Yes.
so his pod guy's out there, so he should crumble and be human
That's
flesh
true.
according to you guys, but he wasn't.
It's either that or somebody broke in and took him out.
Leonard Nimoy? No.
They left him alone to go look for it.
The pod person.
That's when he says he's gonna lay down.
Okay, Jeff Goldblum, his pod person is laying there. They call Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy goes into the back alone and says there was never anything back here. They find a window. When they look out the window, there's people throwing the skin
The
in
garbage truck.
So he passed Jeff Goldblum's pod person out the window.
Oh.
And now... But this Jeff Goldblum was with the woman the whole time.
Yeah, he's fine. His pod person isn't.
But once the pod person awakens, Jeff Goldblum should vanish, and he never does that.
But he's not going to awaken unless he's asleep.
I think they just killed that pod and they'll just start over again.
They might have done that, or maybe they need him to fall asleep and that pod person is done.
But he already fell asleep. That's how his pod person got started.
He got woken up.
He needs to stay asleep.
He needs to stay asleep.
Karen Allen.
She kind of does look like Karen Allen.
I did it again. Brooke Adams.
Can you just call her Jane of the Jungle? Because her armpit hair is so
That's
appalling
pretty gross.
later on.
Yeah, when Beth crumbles at the end, she's asleep because he's like trying to get her to wake up, asleep. So you have to be asleep for it to come to life.
I got it.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of it doesn't make sense. It does, but it doesn't. I should just not think about it.
Yeah, that's probably best.
Yeah, don't think too hard about this. It's more of a metaphor for what kind of society.
High crimes and misdemeanors.
I've never seen that movie. The Woody Allen movie.
I don't know. I thought that was a metaphor for that.
I thought it was a metaphor for, what was it, communism or something?
Yeah, in the 50s.
Yeah.
Actually, it could be looked at. You could look at it both ways.
What's the other way?
Where they just don't. Oh,
Doggy style.
No, like you can look at it both ways. It was a metaphor for communists, and communists they're all the same, and they just march to the same, and
The thing that
they have no emotion.
Yeah.
But then look at 50s America. It's kind of the same. If you're different, if you grew a beard in 50s America, all of a sudden it's like, you should be more like us.
But in the Civil War, they dig that beard.
I'm just
Go
saying.
back 90 more years.
They dig the beard.
I'm just saying it can be a metaphor for both.
Look at us. We're all bringing the beard back.
Yeah, and if anybody around here has no beard, get the fuck out.
That's right.
I've been trying to get Garrett to get one. He's fighting me, but I'll get him on board.
Just start penciling it in a little bit. That's how you gotta start it.
Alright, so basically what's going on here is...
Well, they get separated at the mud bath. Matthew goes to rescue Elizabeth because he gets a phone call.
And she's being turned into a pod.
Yeah, or he tries to call her, I think, and Jeffrey just picks up the phone.
And just leaves it there.
And just leaves it.
Uh-huh.
She's in the process of being turned into a pod.
What's with the face and the skin kind of peeling off? Is that like when you're sleeping, the pod person is taking over your body, so your skin starts peeling away a little bit, or?
I guess.
Oh my god, the more you ask,
I know.
the more I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense at all. But
maybe just have
I'm cool
dry
with
skin.
that.
I don't know.
Everyone had dry skin.
Yeah.
Ashy Larry?
Somebody's supposed to be out there like lotioning the fucking pod person.
No, but that must be it. They're
Yeah.
taking over their body, so they're taking their skin or their deadness or whatever it is.
So the fungus gets onto a person and pulls their memories out
I don't
and
know.
and thoughts.
Is that what it is? So when you pick up the actual pod from the plant, like we saw many people do, you're saying that it got into their skin that way?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh well.
This is where we start meeting people around the time that we had heard at the beginning of the movie say, my wife, that's not my wife. It looks like my wife, but it's not my wife. Now that person is saying, nope, everything's back to normal. That's my wife.
After they talked to Leonard Nimoy.
Because he's been turned now, or more and more people are being turned, and Donald Sutherland's crew is getting smaller and smaller.
And there's like 4 of them at
closing
this
around
point.
them.
Yeah. Spock took off to go talk to the mayor about the epidemic.
He's always disappearing.
And, then he talked to Jeffrey in the car, and he's like, blah blah. They're sooner the better or something.
So now we know Spock's in on it.
Everybody's working together, except for we're down to 4. We think 4.
I have a weird phone call montage of Donald Sutherland just making phone calls.
Talking to the FBI, and people. The woman just like, this is very important that you're not making this up, and shit like that.
How are you not suspecting something, Donald Sutherland?
Did you take a sample? If you didn't take a sample, how do you know you're not just being paranoid?
It's a weird montage, like a couple minutes.
It gets nowhere either.
Of just him walking around the city at different pay booths, phone booths,
At first, I thought they were gonna try and like establish the paranoia because there's a guy banging on the phone booth, but that never happened. It just was him in phone booths.
Yeah.
Which is your dad's favorite movie?
It is.
Your dad's favorite movie is Phone Booth?
Yeah.
Is there a reason? I don't think I think I started watching it and it was kind of boring to me.
It's extremely boring. I know you like one scene movies or one
single location. Yeah.
But
No.
if the location is a phone booth, no.
Then we'll go back to Donald Sutherland's apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Sutherland everyone's sleeping in the house, and he decides to go lock the fence in the backyard, and then he sits on the chair and I don't know if he was purposely fell asleep or just was so tired. But we get this fucking disgusting scene. I have just Donald Sutherland being birthed is the most terrifying thing I have ever seen.
Imagine like you're having a baby and you see his fucking Donald Sutherland coming out. Oh fuck, man.
And it's making weird noises.
Then there's like more than one of them, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's everybody in the house too.
Yeah.
It was just, they were all just being birthed on the backyard, and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling.
So he wakes everybody up, and then he calls the cops or somebody. He's like, I got 4 bodies in my backyard.
Yeah.
And the entire town decides to show up.
Yeah. We get like a big chase scene going on.
Which is the rest of the movie, pretty much, unfortunately.
Stay away
Yes.
from the cat.
Like, up until this point, it's been like...
It's about a half-hour long chase scene.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie.
Your cat.
Attacking you.
No, but there is a step stool in the bathroom. It climbed up there.
Did
It
it
was
jump on
trying
you?
to touch me. I was peeing.
Was it swatting?
It was hitting my butt, yeah. It's like, pay attention to me. I'm like, I'm peeing. Get out of here. Alright, where we at?
Do you have any input on the Donald Sutherland birthing scene in the backyard? The pod?
It looked really good.
It looked disgusting. Now, if this was made today, it would all be CG.
That's the thing.
Where
This
did all those...
looks
Okay,
organic.
he went out there and
So-
fell asleep in that lawn chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see one pod.
Well, they came out of
I'll give it that his pod should be there, but who were all those other ones?
everybody in the house.
Everybody was asleep, so
Everybody
it was
was
everybody.
asleep.
Was everybody asleep?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Except that one girl, right?
Oh, Veronica.
Veronica Cartwright
Yeah.
wasn't, right? Because she's
Right.
Nancy, I think.
the sole survivor.
Spoiler.
Spoiler, jeez.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Movie's only from
Cut that.
1978. So after we were just talking about that, they escape the house, and then, like John said, pretty much the rest of the movie is a chase.
Running down steps, running everywhere.
Every time they think that they found some way out of it, it doesn't work
Did
out.
anyone else see the helicopter light with the Mickey Mouse symbol?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What was
I
that?
don't understand.
Let me try to find it. Where's Mickey Mouse?
Walt Disney just showed up and he's like, I want in.
Oh,
All
You
right.
like this?
you were asking about the why did the dog and the
Yeah.
They
bomb-
sleep right beside each other.
Well, they
all the
sleep
time.
right beside each other, but when Donald Sutherland approaches them and he can't wake them up, he kicks the pod, and the pod like bleeds a little bit.
Oh,
and I think
yeah.
it messed up the transfer is what happened there.
That
But
makes sense.
that's a real fucking creepy scene too.
Mhm.
It's
They
weird
put
though
a
because
mask
the only
on a dog's face.
the only reason it's there is to make Brooke Adams scream, so everyone knows that they're no longer pod people; they're humans. But she's not a human at that point, is she? She is, but her pod has been out and about for a long time because it disappeared inside the apartment.
Wait a minute. Wait. When he leaves her, that she's in a field, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's way before all of that, though.
Well, no. When they're at the very end.
But go back to when her pod was
Right, but
in
I
the
think
apartment.
if they wake up, the pod just gives up.
Yeah,
It doesn't work.
I think it doesn't work.
It just
It just
it's
lays
done.
there and dies. Maybe
Until
that's why
you-
they're picking up so much great fucking shit throughout the movie. They got dead bodies, they got ruined pods, they just got fucking shit everywhere.
these garbage men need to get paid more.
Yeah. Alright, so they're running and they get chased by the entire town, so Jeff Goldblum just goes, I'll just run this way and get help, and you guys just hang out here.
Yeah.
And then Nancy
So he
runs
still
after
has
him.
to be a human at this point, right?
No. Jeff Goldblum's not, is he? At
Yeah,
this point?
because
Yeah,
he's
I'm
creating a
wondering.
diversion so everyone else can get away.
I thought he was.
That's
he was-
emotion.
He
Right
has
there.
to be human, yeah.
Oh yeah. He was still in the house. Yeah.
So the other two go, and
Boy, I need to rewatch this and kind of watch harder.
where do the other two go?
Who?
Nancy.
Elizabeth and Matthew, where do they go?
Oh, they go hide out at their office.
Oh, that's it.
And then you know what happens?
Everybody breaks in.
And everybody breaks in.
First,
but that's when
they have a kiss.
Okay.
Can you plug Prince?
You don't want Seal?
No, it wasn't a kiss from a rose. It was.
Well, that's more in line with this. It's a plant. You getting kissed by a plant.
Yeah,
Freaking
but
turn into a pod person.
Prince is way better than
Okay.
Seal.
That's true. But
I think.
I don't know. I don't really like either one of them.
I like Prince a lot.
And Seal, his face. That's what happens when the pod gets messed up when his...
Oh, like I'll give Seal this. He is the ugliest. Like,
scored one of the hottest women.
if you took his scale on her scale, it's the biggest difference of any couple
Celebrity
ever on the planet. He's like a -2 on the good-looking scale, and she's like a 9. You don't get a net negative or 11 very often, but that's what it is, and that's bad.
And that's math.
This math, that was really good. That was a good lesson.
Good math lesson.
Thank you.
So they're hiding out in the office, and Nancy just disappears. She doesn't stay behind with Jeffrey, does she?
No, she runs off.
Jeffrey runs.
She runs off with Jeffrey.
Okay. She must
Okay,
have
you
loses
guys
him
are
at some
confusing
point,
me because one of the characters' name is Jeffrey, and you're calling Jeff Goldblum Jeffrey, and now
That's
I'm
his
calling-
name.
Is it?
No,
Jack.
Oh,
Jeff
Jack.
is the husband. He's
There is-
Jack.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, people.
Oh shit! Now I gotta go back and fix all this shit.
You can't. It's too late. Nobody knows what we're talking
For the
about.
last 10 minutes, the one listener has been like, "It's Jack, you asshole."
Oh, I've been calling him Goldblum and Donald Sutherland most of the times.
Sorry, Daniel.
They're looking out the window. They see this is where the classic shot from the original of looking out on the street and seeing it's just this takes place at night.
And there are people
Just-
carrying
yeah.
pods
They're just handing out pods to people.
everywhere.
Yeah.
They're doing it right out in the open.
Okay, I guess here's my next question.
Who the fuck's left?
No.
That's what I want to know.
Well, I think
What are these?
I think it's a distribution center. And they're
What
sending
are
them
the
out.
pods?
What?
All the duplicates are already been born. What are these pods left to do? What?
I think they're sending them out on
They're
boats.
sending them out
But
on boats
to
all over
what?
the world.
Make the entire planet like that.
Is there a radius that a pod needs to be near you when you fall asleep for you to be birthed out of it?
Well, that's the point. They're
But,
getting
I mean-
close to people.
Yes, we are in Gremlin rules here, but
Oh, that they're nonsense?
yes.
but
but
but there's not.
Okay, if these things can take over any living organism, then you just get them near trees, and the trees get near people, and somebody falls asleep near a tree, and they become a pod person. Then they start, because they live with somebody, they put the pod near that person, or a plant, or a flower. Or
And how long do you have to be asleep for? Is it 3 hours? Is it 5 hours? You need a full 8 hours before you become
I
a
think
pod
it's like
person.
Freddy Krueger. Like, you got to be out
Yeah,
to get into that
deep
world.
sleep.
Yeah, but for how long?
No, I think as soon as you're out. I don't know. Again, rules. If someone wakes you up within 30 seconds.
Is my ceiling collapsing?
What?
I think it was a leaf blew in the
Oh, okay.
sunroof.
Yeah, that's what it
Moon
is.
light roof.
I don't need headlines. 3 idiots die recording podcasts.
That's the only way we can become famous, probably.
Weren't they the 3 idiots?
Yeah, everyone's gonna go back and listen to the whole catalog and go, you know, they really weren't that bad. They get Matthew and Elizabeth, Beth. They get taken captive here.
This is where you have to stop awake.
Oh, no, I know.
They take speed.
They're like,
I have-
how many
this
do
is
we
great.
need? 1.
Yeah,
Take
take 5.
Take 5.
I was like, why do I have take 1, take 5 written? That's what it is. Speed.
One speed, no. You take 5
Yeah.
of those?
Well, Donald Sutherland knows, man.
He knows.
He does.
He's like, how do you think I do my job so well? Speed.
His character from Animal House, yeah, he knows drugs.
Well, it actually helps them out because they get.
Well, they get a
drugged with
sedative,
something.
yeah.
It helps one of them out.
Yeah.
And not for that long.
Mm-hmm.
She's weak.
Spoiler alert. She is weak. He's like, stay awake. For like 2 minutes. He walks away and she's like, bah.
So this is also where we get the explanation of exactly what these pods are. It's an alien life form that just drifts on the solar winds.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is it windy in space?
Solar winds. I don't know. Is it windy in space?
They're solar
I've always told
flares.
there's a vacuum.
That's a black hole.
No, space isn't a vacuum. No, that's a myth. I know that.
You know
So the
what else
Death
is a
Star would really
Paul
blow up like
Bunyan.
that?
Yeah, it would.
Huh.
Paul Bunyan is a
It
myth.
is a myth.
That's true.
He had a blue ox named Babe.
What's wrong?
I like to educate people while I podcast.
But again, I like this explanation. It's a different take on aliens. I'm all for it if it's different.
Come and watch.
Means I like uniqueness. That means I'm not
One of a
I'm not
kind.
taking over yet.
Unique. That's Latin for one of a kind.
All right.
What, are you just having like an education lesson right now?
Yep.
You had
Touching
Spanish. You didn't
you've
take
done
Latin in
math,
school.
you've done Latin, you've done fucking
Literature. I think I've covered it all.
How's he escape again? I have he escapes
He
again.
chokes out Jack.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. He chokes.
He puts him in a rear naked choke.
and he puts a dart in somebody's neck.
Pull it out. The dart, man. Got a fucking dart in your neck.
Plug that. You got a fucking dart in your head.
They go to a pier. Well, first they run into Nancy.
Who tells them?
who's, just act like you have no emotions and you'll
So-
be fine.
Yeah, just
If
fit
this
in.
movie was made today, you would have the Shaun of the Dead comedy scene of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
They would throw that in.
That is
Instead of
absolutely.
just saying act like them, you would actually have to
They
see
do
them.
try to walk like them for a minute, but they're literally just walking, not doing
Yeah.
anything.
It
But they're
works-
not zombies.
It
They're
works for
pod-
exactly 1 minute because that dog
Scares.
man thing jumps out and starts barking.
Fucking creepy.
And I know,
Still.
okay. And this is what I want to stress. I know it's in a movie, but let's talk about this is real life. Your life is on the line. You know, if you do anything that you're not just walking, that you're fucked.
Hey,
And she's like, ah!
Keep your mouth shut. I don't care what. Just be like,
this is the Jenny from Friday the 13th Part 2. A mouse is gonna scare you.
Oh,
and then you
yeah.
get Jason after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a mouse makes you pee yourself. Yeah, you get like. If I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna open my mouth.
Nope.
It's just not gonna happen.
So you'd be fine in that A Quiet Place movie.
John
That,
Krasinski.
don't even get me started on that.
I know, I heard
Thing.
that
I
you
didn't
hate the
watch
shit out of it.
You watched it.
Yeah,
It's bad?
it's not great.
They show the monster
can't-
immediately, don't they?
I can't not
Well,
take.
It eats a kid.
I watch The
guess,
Office,
but
and I
it's
love The
not
Office. So anything with John Krasinski now.
I'll give
is-
it a try.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I can't not see Jim. His
Exactly.
character, like he's playing Jack Ryan now in action.
That's
star,
nonsense.
and I'm
That
just
is
like,
crazy.
no, that's Jim. He sells paper.
I went to the theaters to see Leatherheads with, what was
Is
it?
he in
Clooney.
that?
Yeah, Clooney and John Krasinski. And it was the same thing. It was just watching Jim and George Clooney.
It is tough, but it's not even the point that if the things hear noise, that's where these creatures would be. There's a waterfall that makes noise all the time, so you would think the creatures would be
there going.
there all the time looking for something, and that's where they go to make noise because there's water there and it takes out your voice. Well,
Maybe
any
they-
sound they say.
Maybe they can differentiate human or animal voice to nature.
Waterfall, yeah, but they don't say that because I think there's a scene later
they don't
where
say
a
that
deer
because-
makes a noise and those things come flying.
The problem
and-
is when you're writing that script, any time that you say
Yeah.
go
What
to
script?
a place, the script for A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
If you're writing it,
What I'm
anytime that
saying
you
is there
say
was no script.
somebody stands near a thing to make noise or to not make,
Yeah.
anytime you write dialogue, anytime any of that happens, you need to have like another note over here that says any noise equals monster.
Yeah, those, yeah.
So-
Cross that out. Let's
that
try
can't Be in
again.
there, yeah.
Wouldn't you be better off just going into like a bank vault, shutting the door and talking? Okay.
Going somewhere secluded. Yeah.
That would okay. So I had a better idea than the scriptwriter.
And how about
Write the
that?
second one.
They
then.
literally they show you a nail in a step, and you know it's going to come into play later. And as soon as she steps on that nail and screams, there is a monster in her house in literally 2 seconds.
Mhm.
In her house.
Where'd it come from?
Yeah.
How fast?
How fast? Where was it located? It never tells you that these things just sit in the woods and wait for noise. Oh, they should be down by the waterfall because it always makes noise.
Just standing there looking all day
Wait,
long.
yes. Fuck that movie.
Okay, so anyway, they go out on the street, see the dog monster, start running to a pier, and at this point we lose
Nancy.
Nancy. I don't know where she went. So it's just,
I'm not worried about Nancy. She can take care of herself.
yeah, she seems fine.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
She's the smartest one in this movie.
I have that in my notes here.
So Matthew and Elizabeth go to the pier, and Matthew thinks that because he hears music,
Oh my god.
there must
First,
be
they,
What was this
they get on a
Amazing
moving
Grace?
truck to get away.
Amazing grace, come sit on my face. Don't make me cry. I need your pie.
Yeah. They run and they jump in the back of a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives them to the pier where they're loading up the pods and they see.
Now, the stupidity. The whole city of San Francisco is against you.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you go? There's ships. We can get away.
Maybe he thought that the ships were from another place and didn't have infected people on them.
I think
just...
if he figures they can just get away from San Francisco, maybe they could get to somewhere where the pods are. Yeah,
possibly.
Then again, did you see that the girl was in high heels and she fell down steps and hurt herself, and then he had to carry her?
Yeah.
Was that now, or was that still to come?
That's here.
That's here. Yeah.
In bagpipes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amazing Grace. That's what I said. Like, it was just on.
Is that okay?
It turns out it's just a radio broadcast. It's not a person playing music or anything.
So this is where he has to leave her hidden while he goes.
No. He's standing there and she turns into a pod person.
Oh, right in front of him.
Yeah. She like crumbles to nothing.
Yeah, he's hugging her body and it.
Yeah, and
dehydrates.
Then her pod person is chasing after him nude, and they go to a plant.
Boobs!
Yeah, which is fine by me. Twice.
Hairy armpits.
Yeah, I have here Brooke Adams walking around naked, as one does.
Yeah, and then she lifts her arm though.
Tell you, it's that 70s new agey stuff.
She's a hippie. She's a full-blown hippie.
Mm.
You could tell she didn't wear a bra, and you could tell her armpits were hairy.
I don't mind the not wearing a bra thing.
I don't care.
That's fine. No, that's fine with me, but your hairy armpits.
So all you podcasts that are like, getting advertisers that are bras, you guys are assholes.
There's podcasts that get that.
Generation Y.
They broadcast bras?
They one of their sponsors is a bra factory.
I prefer.
Which is weird.
True.
They have to sit there and talk about how great these bras are, and they're two dudes.
I prefer true crime.
And let's talk about the worst thing about bras.
Mm-hmm.
They cover up the titty.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
That's the worst thing ever.
So after Brooke Adams changes, he runs to
another 20 minutes of this fucking movie.
Yeah, about a greenhouse basically.
It is a greenhouse with pods.
What is the chance that it was a pot? I mean, this is San Francisco. They're probably growing pot in there, right?
It looked like, from Pineapple Express.
Mm-hmm.
Where they break into that.
So, he starts wrecking the joint.
Slowly.
Let's talk about this. He goes up in the rafters, gets an axe. As soon as he gets the axe, an alarm goes off. And then
I
he
think
just cuts
that
the lights
axe
down.
was connected to like a fire alarm.
Oh, yeah.
So when he removed it
made all the people
trigger it.
Weird.
Started screaming, yeah.
But then he starts just cutting the lights that are hanging in this place, and they're falling and causing massive fires. Would that actually happen? I would think that the bulb would just bust. But sure.
Unless these pods are super flammable or something.
Well, I did see, fun fact,
before
Donald Sutherland insisted on doing his own stunts here. We get Naked Brooke Adams again.
Yeah, this is where we actually see her hairy armpit where she points and makes the face and the noise because she sees Donald Sutherland up in the rafters.
How's he escape? He wrecks the joint, causes chaos.
Yeah, he just sneaks down through the steps and these little platforms and gets out.
Is the next scene him just walking around the streets of San Francisco?
He's hiding. Yeah, he goes into hiding. I don't even know where he was hiding.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
holy fuck, will this movie ever end?
I know. I'm thinking he was talking with somebody, and
the next day, Matt is back to work. Like everything's
he goes back
normal.
to work.
Yeah. The next day, but I think he ends up hiding from them. Then it black screens in the next day or something. So we don't know what happened.
And I'm sorry.
Did he sleep? Did he not sleep?
He's not smiling or laughing, but he's showing awareness, like emotion that something's
going on.
Are people gonna recognize me? And but I still like this ending though. He's out on the street. What? End of the day, he leaves and he's out in the street, and Nancy's in the city, and she calls his name, and she starts going towards him, and he turns around and just points with the famous.
That face.
And
all the trees had been changed.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, when he was walking down the street, all the trees had been changed. That's it.
To what?
They were all...
They were dead looking.
Yeah, they were all pods of themselves. Or pods of the other plants, like clones. Everything on Earth
had cloned itself.
How's that possible?
Well, at least that town. I don't know if everything on Earth, but at least that town, everything had.
What about the buildings?
The buildings aren't alive. They're not organic material.
Some of them are.
I was telling...
you ever see Deathbed? That bed was alive.
That's true.
So I mentioned to him, where when we see Donald Sutherland back in the city, and he's like kind of creeping around, and he's not smiling and he's not laughing or showing emotion, I guess, but he still has this look of suspicion, like people are gonna.
I think they're trying to like trick the audience.
Yeah, they did. I mean, that's what they're doing. But did you buy it? That
no, I started thinking like these people. First of all, they're like he's gonna fall asleep sometime, and then they cut to that.
Yeah,
they're waiting for him.
Yeah.
He's not getting out of there.
Why not?
How's he gonna get out of there?
Well, how the hell?
Leave.
He took 5 speed pills. I imagine
he's not
gonna
gonna
super
stay
strength.
awake for like.
Maybe he's taking more speed pills.
If it's life or death, how long could you stay awake for?
How's Nancy?
3 days, and then your body's gonna die.
How fucking Nancy
All
doing
right,
this?
then stay awake.
All right, Nancy.
Because she's in the city.
The question is she gonna give up or is she gonna?
Oh,
Well, she's gonna
gave
be
up.
dead after
Come
that.
on, they're gonna catch her.
Yep, I think so too. I think the funniest thing about this is that these aliens just keep doing the same mundane shit that people do.
Yeah, you came here just to do this shit?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about stress or anxiety. You have no emotion. Just go through your everyday life.
A lot of those people in the science lab look like I do at work, just staring off into the abyss.
And then you hear somebody walking behind you, and then another person. You look, and oh, I'm done. Just go in line, walk out. Mm-hmm. Nah, that air smells way better on the way out than the way in.
That's true.
Got a little pep in your step walking up as opposed to walking down in.
All right, Ben, this is your movie, so what did you give it?
I still don't know a score yet, but I'll tell you how I felt about it. Again, I love 70s cinema, so I like the style, I like the look of it. Actually, this is only my second watch, but now I'm realizing if everyone just would have fucking listened to Nancy at the beginning, probably could have saved a lot of heartache. But is it an impossibility? Survival?
Probably.
Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah. So
even if you're the last person on Earth that's a real person, what are you really trying to do?
Kill aliens.
Here's my question. Donald Sutherland killed his own pod.
It's plant life, man. Another pod's gonna form.
Okay, but are all those bodies that plant-like weak? You could fucking take that axe and just start going off on those bodies if they're all...
It's going to take a while.
It might take a while, but
I can say the human body's pretty weak. If I take an axe or a...
Yeah, but I mean,
I can just go off on you and just...
Yeah,
one hit to the face is going to kill you. I mean...
But if it's plant-like,
I know,
it's even softer.
So it makes it slightly easier.
I like this idea of these types of aliens. Like I said, it's a lot different than just it's an invasion from spacecraft and other remotely human-looking aliens. But cinematography, I always like San Francisco. Looks good. Love the Dirty Harry films because of it. Pacing issues. There's no need for an hour and 55 minutes, people. Yeah. I enjoyed the ending. Yeah, you're supposed to think that Donald Sutherland made it and he's just surviving, but really he'd been turned. So, and I like the atmosphere. Mob, like I said, mob horror scares me.
So,
give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's pretty close to what I was going for. It's a terrific movie. It's probably the best adaptation of this story.
Yes, I agree. There's been many too.
Yeah, the guy who did The Driller Killer made one, and it was terrible. Abel Ferrara.
I heard that name. What was that movie called?
It was just Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or maybe it was just The Body Snatchers.
Okay. Because I knew they did. Is that the one just called Invasion with Nicole Kidman?
That's a newer one.
Okay. Yeah. They remake this about every decade.
And it's all supposed to reflect the current period of time or have a different kind of symbolism to it, but
it's not like communists taking over. Although,
yeah, this one it's the best one of all of them. I think watching Jeff Goldblum early on made this movie pretty fun. I just the pace is so fucking annoying. Like they had really interesting ideas and discussions, and the dialogue was great, and then all of a sudden we'd be on a 30-minute chase scene.
Yeah, it's all over the place. And even that spot in the middle where he goes to save Elizabeth back to her house, and then the cops show up, and then Jeffrey just goes on charges, and it's just these. Yeah.
So
cut 25 minutes.
Because of that, I'm gonna go with 6. I was gonna go with a 7. I just
talked yourself out of it.
Yeah, it's too long. It's not even movies can be long if they have something happening in it. But watching Donald Sutherland cut 5 or 6 strings of lights in a row is too much.
It's hard to make a horror film an hour and 55 minutes and make it enjoyable. They're not supposed to be.
That's another thing that reminded me about Halloween 3 is at the end rather than just kind of like get to the end, they keep padding stuff on, like the robot arm attacks him twice and shit. It's just, you got to know when to end your movie.
Yeah.
So, all right, Cobra.
I gave it a 7. You gave it a 6.
I'm right there with you, Weaver. I gave it a 6. It was a little too long, and not. I mean, there was stuff going on, but literally you're just following 4 characters around with people giving them the stink eye, and them trying to figure out who's a pod person, who's not. And that's pretty much it. But it is well acted, well directed. There's boobs in it. The music and the like, it sounded like they had one of those big metal sheets, and they were shaking it a lot of the time. Like it was like
those old radio sound effects that they
it was
used
weird
back in the day.
But I'm glad I watched it, so I can say that I have.
Just
but
check that one off your list.
I think it's
You're not gonna revisit.
it's not as good as like its IMDb rating's a 7.4. I don't think this movie's a 7. I think it's just a 6.
It's just short of it.
Just short.
Yeah.
A little too long. Maybe if it was 90
Shorter.
minutes.
Yeah.
Might have been a 7.
It is universally considered the best Invasion of the Body because, like John and I were saying, like they remake it about once a decade.
They do.
Body Snatchers.
So, and Invasion.
They did one that
you
took
ever-
place on an army base, right? And it was just the soldiers being replicated. And you could not tell at all what the difference was because they were all very boring.
Have you ever seen the original?
Yes.
Do you like it?
It's pretty good
Yeah.
for the time. It's definitely more 50s feeling.
Yeah, I watched it for the first time in school. I had a political film class. And
I actually thought it was going to feel longer than it did. This one felt long. That one didn't
Yeah.
actually feel that long.
all right, take us out.
Thrill me!
If you want to get a hold of us, facebook.com/horrorcasting, horrorcastings@gmail.com. We're on Twitter @horrorcasting. Show's on iTunes, it's on Podbean, and it's on YouTube. Go.
Thrill me!